Still waiting for that perfect golden chance? Wake up! Years have already been wasted chasing comfort zones and daily dollars. AI's not waiting for anyone. It's sprinting ahead of us, faster, smarter, and sharper. In 10 years, it'll eat our jobs, our businesses, and definitely our excuses. Transformation, disruption, domination. Education re-engineered, property tokenized, communities reinvented. This is the decade of survival, and the One Real Tech is building the blueprint. Want growth? Get in. This is the decade where the average doer vanishes, but the bold ones, they build empires. No dependency, no pity party, no constraints, just freedom to create, to own, to flex, and to live louder than ever. This isn't some sci-fi film. This is now. The new reality, human with machine, vision with ownership. If we are not part of it, we are history. The next 10 years belong to the crazy ones, the doers. Stay in comfort and stay stuck, or get up and own the future. The choice is ours.
Hey, good morning, everybody from Southwest Florida. I'm Dr. Jeffrey E. Berger, and that is an honorary doctorate for Advocate on Mental and Financial Well-Being and Leadership in Life Transformation. I humbly received in September of 2024. So welcome to season 2026 of Holistic True Wealth. And they talk about the doers and the go-getters, and that's what I'm all about with this podcast series. And before I officially get started here, if you wouldn't mind, remember to like, subscribe, and also enter your questions or share your comments with us from whichever platform you're joining us today from. We promise to get back to you today. We'd love to hear from you. And so thank you for that. I'm truly excited to be here with you today. This is a great new series in 2026. And if we haven't met yet, I'm the CEO and founder of Abundance and Optimum Wellness, a certified holistic coach, really taking a finance-first approach to encompassing overall well-being, and your host for this transformative journey that we are taking. And this season, we've actually brought together an incredible line of guests from all types of platforms, individuals who are not just talking about change, but they're actually living it. And they're sharing their insights that can genuinely shift the direction of your life if you so choose. And for me, myself, my core, I believe that everyone really deserves the life to live a life of true abundance, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And as a certified holistic coach, taking that finance-first approach to well-being, because whether we like it or not, financial stress impacts every other area of our lives. And when we address that foundation, everything else begins to elevate. We're living in a time of massive transformation, a major paradigm shift. And this complete shift is how we think, earn, live, and build our lives. We have to start re-engineering that. And if you're feeling that, you're not alone. But this isn't something to fear. It's something to step into, which is what I've learned over the last 10 years. And this podcast is really about more than just ideas. It's about providing real solutions for those that are looking for them, and the paths that are, really working right now to help you actually go from just surviving to thriving, which so many are going through that experience today. Because true wealth isn't just about money. It's about having the freedom, the tools, and the mindset to create the life you actually want to live. So before I bring my special guest on today, we're going to take another quick, short commercial break, and we'll be right back.
What if property wasn't just bricks and walls, but pixels and blockchain too? One Real Tech takes real estate digital and puts ownership right in your hands. Fractional ownership, real assets, blockchain trust. The future of property is here. And where does it all start? It starts with Dawan Realtech, where you will learn how blockchain and real estate come together. One ecosystem, endless opportunities. Are you ready to step inside? From Harare to Abu Dhabi and across the world, Dawan Realtech is connecting ideas, assets, and innovation, turning vision into value, dreams into ownership. Dawan Realtech. Own it, live it, trade it.
Okay, we are back, and today on Holistic True Wealth, I'm honored to welcome Gareth Davies. And we go back a little bit here, and this is a man whose life has been defined by dreams, devastating setbacks, and extraordinary reinvention. And I love bringing these types of interviews to this podcast because it's all about being able to get that mindset I talked earlier about, to make those changes no matter what encounters you approach in life. It's all about getting through those. And he comes from the streets of Grangetown, which is just north of Cardiff, which is the capital city of Wales. And Gareth fulfilled his childhood dream of playing professional football for Cardiff City, and only for a knee injury to end it overnight. And isn't that always the case? It ends it overnight. So instead of giving up, he built a new life coaching in America, invested in an indoor soccer center, and became a direct sales leader for over 30 years. And 12 years ago, he moved to Tromsø, Norway. I hope I'm saying that right, and you can correct me. And that I just found out this morning. I'm like, where is that place? It's northern Norway, approximately 350 kilometers, which is 217 miles north of the Atlantic Circle. So it's cold up there generally, but he just told me they're getting a warm front pretty soon here. And he's there with his partner Ann. And after discovering Redox Signalling technology with ASEA, he's co-founder of Redox Health Team Global and helping athletes, over 40 wellness seekers, and seasoned network marketers, direct sales, to reclaim their physical freedom. So get ready for an inspiring conversation about resilience and real healing, and the creating that true holistic health experience. So welcome to Holistic True Wealth Podcast, Gareth. So glad to have you here today.
Yeah, thanks, Jeffrey. It's really great to be here. And yes, what a surprise! We're getting a hot blast up in the Arctic Circle over the next few days. So we're looking forward to that. It doesn't come often.
Does that mean you're going to bring your bathing suit out?
It means I will be sitting on the balcony, probably in shorts, but still the water here is going to be freezing. So I've had experience of thinking that I would be good enough or okay to get in this cold water, because I take cold dips and cold showers, but it is way too cold for me to be in there.
So the water never gets like my pool down here in Florida to above 90 degrees, right?
It's nowhere near that, Jeff.
Got it. All right. So before we dive into the questions, just share a little bit with the audience about who Gareth is outside of your business.
Yeah, well, I grew up, as you said, in Grangetown, which is a inner city Cardiff, actually, right near the centre of town, and never thought about anything else when I was a kid other than playing football for Cardiff City. So I would be sat in school, looking out the window, not paying any attention, just dreaming about playing football for this club. And I got there very, very late in life as far as football goes, at 27. And just played a couple of games before I got injured. But I have a beautiful wife, Anna Bennett. We met 12 years ago, and I have between us we have five children and 5 grandchildren, mostly in the UK, but one of them down in Denmark as well.
Nice. So that's great. Well, thanks for sharing that. Always love to hear those little nuggets of people growing up and what they're doing outside of their business. So you talk about that injury, and that knee injury just like overnight suddenly ended it. So share with us that experience, that exact moment that you really decided not to let that injury define the rest of your life?
Well, yes, it was obviously a moment in time that changed, but my career didn't finish at that moment, or at least I didn't know it had finished at that moment, because I spent the best part of 2 years going back and forth to a place called Lilleshall in England, which is the FA Rehabilitation Centre, and I still had hopes of getting my fitness back. But during that time, in fact, just before, my coach had said, to become a better player, why don't you start taking your coaching certifications, which I had done. So I continued that through those 2 years, and that was really the push which gave me somewhere else to look, somewhere else where I could be happy and look forward to, was coaching other players and children initially to be better soccer players. So after I got to the end of the 2 years and thought, this is not going to mend, at least I already had something that I put my time and effort into, and I absolutely loved.
Awesome. And so you did your best to try to mend that injury, and sometimes it just doesn't work. But you came to that realization that it's not working out, and then you took that big leap to moving to America with pretty much no contacts, and you built that indoor soccer center. Now, we over there, you call your football is our soccer, and vice versa.
Correct.
So
yeah.
I just want to make that clear to the audience there. And so you built this indoor center, and share a little bit about that experience and what you did here in America to establish that ground, business model before you ended up moving to Norway.
Yeah, well, it was a long time before moving to Norway. So this is going back. It was 1991, and I decided to get some coaching experience, that I would go to the States, and I had an opportunity to coach through the summer, 6 or 7 weeks, something like that. And I ended up going there and just doing that, going to various summer camps I was sent to, and coaching a group of, maybe a couple of coaches, maybe 10 parents and 30 or 40 kids for a week at a time. So I did that through the summer, really enjoyed it. And the guys I was involved with, they had these dreams of building this indoor soccer center. And I thought, okay, this looks like fun. I had so much fun the first year when I was coaching, that the next year I actually found and coached 20 university students who had just finished their sports degree, or they'd done their preliminary coaching badges. And I took those over, and I sort of became a manager in this indoor center and an investor. So I became one of the owners, and
Nice.
That was interesting. Let's put it that way. That was a real learning experience. It was in that well-known soccer mecca of North Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay.
Which was
where.
Yeah, I knew nothing about before I went there, but I really believe there's a fantastic legacy of soccer in Arkansas now, because of that indoor center was there so early. And the reason, one of the business reasons behind the timing, apart from what I'd just been through with my rehab and deciding I couldn't really play at the top level anymore, was the fact that the World Cup was coming to the States for the very first time in '94. And I've got a great World Cup story where I was in this indoor center one time, and the phone went, and I picked it up, and someone said, "Hi, it's so-and-so from the World Cup Trophy Tour. We'd like to bring the World Cup to Arkansas." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And I put the phone down. And a minute later, the phone rang again, and the guy said, "Don't put the phone down, don't put the phone down. I'm serious." And there was an organization called the World Cup Trophy Tour, and we arranged for them to come into Arkansas. And I have photographs of me picking up the World Cup, and many other people came, and picked up the World Cup and started to get that first interest in soccer and how big it was worldwide, because it was just scratching the surface in the States at the time.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, and that was the first time in the States, and you obviously had some profound impact on that. And I want to tie into this story here, because this is, if I remember correctly, this is where this true resilience, what does that true resilience that we talked about look like when everything familiar has stripped away? It's like getting into that uncomfortable zone, and this is where true resilience, either it flourishes or it dies.
Well, you talked about at the beginning of your show about wealth being, the lack of money can be a serious problem for people's mental health or physical health. Actually, it can cause inflammation, for instance, and I believed, I understood, because what I really wanted to do all my life, I couldn't do anymore because of my injury with my knee. And it started to dawn on me that as well as wealth, health was so a part of life. We need both. I use this term now. I use this saying now that if, that when you don't have wealth, all you can think about is money.
Right.
When you don't have it.
Absolutely.
When you don't have health, it's exactly the same. That's all you can think about. So these two things are really, really important in our lives. And I learned that through my injury, because I couldn't move around much. I've not been able to run since that accident in 89, something like that.
Wow.
I carried on eating and drinking while I was doing at the time, which was anything and everything.
Right.
So guess what? I started to put on weight, and that was at the time was what was horrific for me. The injury became one of the biggest blessings in my life, because it gave me a nudge to start looking at my health, because I looked fit and healthy, and I was fit, but I wasn't healthy on the inside. Right. Yeah. I didn't realize that.
I get it.
So I started looking at diets. I used myself as a lab for 3 or 4 years, and actually when I moved to Arkansas, believe it or not, I had a vegan diet. Can you imagine that? Arkansas, 1991, a vegan diet.
Exactly.
That was pretty interesting
out there. All right, we're going to be right back. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to talk about this redox signaling. We'll be right back.
Sure.
What if property wasn't just bricks and walls, but pixels and blockchain too? DA1 Realtech takes real estate digital and puts ownership right in your hands. Fractional ownership, real assets, blockchain trust. The future of property is here. And where does it all start? It starts with DA1 Realtech, where you will learn how blockchain and real estate come together. One ecosystem, endless opportunities. Are you ready to step inside? From Harare to Abu Dhabi and across the world, DA1 Realtech is connecting ideas, assets, and innovation, turning vision into value, dreams into ownership. DA1 Realtech. Own it, live it, trade it.
Okay, we are back with Gareth Davies, is the co-founder of the Redox Health Team Global, and 30 years in the direct sales industry across multiple companies. And with that, you've learned expensive lessons through that journey, as I think most people do in the direct sales industry. And what finally made you say this is the one when you discovered ASEA Redox Signalling?
Great to see your bottle there, Jeff. Yes.
Technology. So share with the audience what that is.
Yeah. Well, ASEA technology is an amazing technology. And when I first came across it, I just said, I thought to myself, is this real? Can this be real? And as I'd had experience with other companies, as you mentioned then, which not all of them positive, and I thought, okay, before I go and dive into something else, and I even, start to tell my wife about it, that I'm excited by this stuff, she was like, oh, what is he up to now? Then we got the opportunity to meet the owner of the company, actually, Tyler Norton, the owner of ASEA, in Budapest. So we booked flights and we went to see this guy because I wanted to look him in the eye, and I wanted to understand that this was real and that the company were really a legacy company. They were who they say they were, and I wasn't going to put a load of time, effort, money into something and be disappointed. And the talk that when we first met Tyler, and he brought two of his people from the US to this conference, two of his leadership team. One was the science guy, the guy who knows, was the director of operations as far as product goes, and one was I'm going to get this right, the head of ethics. And I'd never come across a company before who had a head of ethics. So that was incredible. And then to listen to this guy, to look him in the eye, and subsequently I've met him directly as well. They just keep surprising me in a good way, rather than I've been surprised in a bad way with a couple of companies along the way. So they are a fabulous company. The technology they've got is unmatched by anyone in the world. And it's been available for 16 years. They pretty much cracked the code of how to get balance in our cells. Yeah, and when all inflammation actually comes from cells which are unbalanced.
Absolutely, and there are so many amazing products out there that really address the root cause, and unfortunately, many of our medical systems don't address the root cause; they just Band-Aid over it. I don't know how it is over where you are, but here we are. They focus on illness rather than. They manage illness rather than managing wellness. What can we do to get you well? So you focus, and that's another story for another podcast. We could go down the rabbit hole with that one, with what I've been going through since 2018. But you serve three groups. You serve athletes over 40, proactive wellness seekers, and experienced direct sales individuals. Which group excites you the most, and why?
Well, for me personally, as it comes no surprise, helping corporate executives, that's my background because I've been in business a long time, and athletes over 40 to remain competitive naturally. That's what I do. That's what I love, dealing with those people, because I can identify with them as part of my journey. One of the things I've been doing since I've been in Norway, been in northern Norway, very particular in Tromsø, is that I've learned to cross-country ski. And for 4 or 5 months of the year, just out of the door, 50 meters away, I can get on a ski track. And it is absolutely incredible for fitness, for mental health.
Sure.
And it's just been amazing. But I'm a learner, I come from Wales. I don't come from northern Norway. And I've had a couple of accidents, so I've become my own testimonial a couple of times with the injuries that I've picked up from skiing. But I've used the technology to overcome those injuries and get better.
Nice, and it's all about those being your own testimonial. It's relatability. It's where you build the trust, that get to know, like, and trust, and that I believe has been a key factor for those who are in the direct sales industry, and which is truly amazing for those that understand it and those that want to understand it. So it does have a bad rap, but that's because they've been kind of tainted, in many respects, and it's just like anything else. So I can't believe we're coming up towards the end of the 30 minutes here, but for those that are watching, Gareth's information is scrolling down at the bottom there. And before we wrap up, for someone who's listening today, listening right now, listening on the replay, and for that right now, who really feels like their best years, physically or professionally, they're looking for something.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for something different. And what would be your piece of a recommendation or a nugget that you could plant for those individuals who are out there? Because with that, I want to just encompass, we talked about true wealth. And I said that true wealth isn't about money. It's about the tools and the resources. You have a tool, you've got resources that address the self-signaling. And it's these tools and resources that allow people to create that lifestyle, to live in abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. So what would that piece of advice be?
Well, more than anything else, I would say what this technology does is give people hope. It could be hope that they can perform as they used to be as energized as they used to be. Absolutely, that bottle's incredible. The big blue bottle, as we say, magic bottle. And for people who feel like if they've been sick in some way, they feel like they've been everywhere. Maybe I'm talking to you. You have more experience here, Jeff, perhaps. That they feel like they've been everywhere, and they feel hopeless because they haven't been able to find a solution. And this technology is real. It's backed by some fantastic research, more and more research coming out all the time, and a ton of testimonials of people who have got fantastic results with it. And almost nobody knows about it still after 16 years.
Right. Yeah. Because a lot of this is being suppressed. And bottom line is, my opinion, true healing doesn't come from pharmaceuticals. It comes from holistic options. Plants were put here for a reason. Technologies were put here for a reason that are ethical. You talk about being ethical and providing true healing components to the body and making the body temple really communicate within itself.
Well, the body's very, very capable of doing amazing things, but it must have the right signaling. And that's
right.
What Redox do, exactly. Is it enables our body to signal like when we were much, much younger. Right. You imagine you cut your finger when you see a kid cut their finger, and the next day it's healed. We cut it when we're 40 or 50. It takes 3 weeks before it stops weeping because our cell signaling is dying down. This is giving healing at the basic level, cellular level.
Awesome. Well, Gareth, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been amazing. And again, reach out to Gareth if you have any questions. We hope to see comments in or even questions in whichever platform you're coming on from and sharing this with us today. And for some of the commercials that you saw, I talked about financial fitness. We're in a paradigm shift, and I am really focusing on educating people about this financial shift that is happening today. It's been happening for quite some time, but it's really speeding up, if you will. And I'm helping educate individuals who are looking to, get a foundation, get some basic information about portfolio diversification. So scan that QR code and you see the word blockchain. Blockchain is a technology, and this is the new technology of today where everything is being developed on it, and we're moving forward with that. And nothing to be scared about. You don't have to know about the back end of this platform, but it is a foundation that is going to change the world as we move forward. Gareth, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, providing value to the audience. And I hope to see lots of questions out there that we can respond to. So we'll see you guys the next time. Thank you.
Thank
Hi, it's Jeff, your digital currency strategist. What if technology wasn't just something you used, but something you experienced? Welcome to the world of real tech, fintech, edtech, AI, and the metaverse, designed with intention. We're building 5 digital continents, each with its own unique user experience. 2 are already live and the others are coming soon. This isn't hype. This is infrastructure, your education or ownership. Stay tuned because I'll be taking you inside the Meta, one ILM Versity, and our Zanzibar Hotel and Resorts property where innovation meets real-world impact. The future isn't coming. It's being built right now. Won't you join us?